of the evening. Giants in blue, SK in red. Kale and Jarvan have been banned out, and the Kennen banned out on the other side, shockingly against Jimbones.
Yeah, no real surprise there. Looking through the rest of the bans, you've got Jarvan and Nasus being targeted there at Hercubot, taking it away from him. They do not want Ocelot playing Kale either, so getting rid of that intervention, getting rid of that powerhouse in the mid lane. We know that Jimbones playing Kennen is his sort of go-to AD carry. I managed to talk to him a little bit during the week, and he says he likes to fall back to champions like Ashe, but it doesn't really fit at the moment, doesn't have quite as much damage as they need, and it doesn't really fit his team's playstyle either. So we'd like to see, who he decides to lock in for this matchup.
I am actually very intrigued by the Kale ban, because I don't characterize that as a must ban against SK. It feels like a specialized ban, like a counter ban. So I'm curious to see what Giants actually run in their composition because of that.
Well, one of the things that Kale does counter really incredibly well is those burst comps, people who go down very, very quickly. So if Giants wanted to run somebody like a Zed or get somebody bursty like Lux, who is still currently available, obviously removing Kale from that will obviously give them the ability to do so. They did, however, leave both Shen and Thresh available. That means Nif is going to be on, I think it's the Chain Warden if I remember correctly, and Kevin will be going back to his, his top lane Shen, who he's just been so unmovable with this season.
All right, well, we'll see what ends up happening, of course. Being an immovable object, always nice overall. And I think Kevin's been really on point this week as well. His Rumble was the MVP.
It was mind-blowing.
It was ludicrously good. It was amazing. Giants are looking at a couple of slightly different picks here. Another tanky lineup here. We have seen Babetta's Alistair before. This is what he's looking at right now. Of course, we do know it's going to be Volibear jungle almost definitely. And it's the insta-lock onto Kassadin blindly saying, SK, counterpick me, I dare you.
So Giants deciding to go with the Kassadin in the mid lane. Extra's going to potentially be counterpicked here. We'll see how or if Ocelot decides to do that, who he decides to run. When Alex was playing it, he picked Ari into that matchup, so we'll see how that one plays out. And you were talking about the Alistair pick. We have seen him a couple of times in the EU LCS to not much success. He hasn't been used particularly effectively, so I'd like to see how that plays through, how it plays out. It does look like that Zed's been locked in, so Ocelot feeling that Zed could potentially be the counter to that Kassadin. He obviously has the burst potential and some pretty good range, being energy based with those shurikens. He can keep out of range of those null spheres from Kassadin.
Well, this will be interesting overall because I think Zed's landing phase is definitely stronger. His early landing is really good. Kassadin's early landing sucks pretty hard. But when you actually hit level 6, it's interesting because he can rift walk away from the death mark and depending on timing, dodge all the damage. Yeah. Like, maybe he can get, shot with the Blade of the Ruin King or something like that, but realistically, he could dodge almost all of it or pull him into a turret or all kinds of interesting things, so I'm intrigued to see what comes out of that match if they fight head-to-head. Yeah,
just the fact that he can put distance between himself and that Shadow Clone just is so, so important. At the moment, we do see that both Rumble and Vayne have now been locked in for the Giants, so Jimbone's going to be playing Vayne again. I think the last time we seen him on Vayne was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was a fairly uninspiring performance, if I recall correctly. So I want to see how well he's going to be playing with this hyper carry. There is a fair amount of protection for him, though, in the form of Alistair, Rumble, and of course Volibear. So they're going to play those meat shields, put a good equalizer down for zone control, and allow Jimbones to freely tumble in and out of battle, use that stealth up, and really try and sort of kite his opponents. But if he does get caught by Zed, he's in trouble.
Oh, interesting. So they've grabbed Fizz, which makes me think Jungle Shen, Fizz mid, Zed top. We've seen Zed jungle actually as a possibility as well. I've even seen Fizz jungle, to be fair, so I won't call it completely, but that's my guess, my blind guess here.
Fizz's passive is awesome in the jungle, reducing damage from neutral minions monsters.
It makes it pretty strong overall. What I'm surprised by for Giants, though, is they don't have like a Lulu or a Soraka or a Janna or anything to stop Zed from one-shotting Vayne. Like, we normally always see Lulu against Zed if you can help it, because the shields and the health help you survive that one. So I'm curious to see if that ends up burning him out.
Now, Lulu was actually available and decided not to be picked up here. Yeah. So that save your carry option is not available. At the time being, it does look like Ocelot wants to be playing Fizz in that mid lane to go up against Kassadin, and they've given Kevin Zed up in the top lane to face off against Samux's Rumble. So a lot of assassins, a lot of damage in this game, and it's definitely going to be a case of whoever gets ahead in the early game is probably going to roll through into the mid and the late game. The one thing we have to keep our eyes on is Hercubot Shen. If anything goes wrong once they hit 6, Hercubot, the man on your screen right now, will be using that Stand United to save his teammates, to dive into those fights with that shield and completely turn it around. And that's something that Giants do not have. They don't have that, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, please help.
No, Giants are for melee. Right? Giants do not have great turret sieging. They don't really have poke anyway. Giants are a team that have to go all in to fight. I mean, it basically looks like the comp that Gambit had against Giants, where they have to run in there, have a range AD carry, but everyone runs in there and gets kited around and messed with a bunch of crowd control. And now Giants are the ones full melee. SK, they've got Zed can dash around, Shen can shield someone, Ocelot can dash around on Fizz, Candy Panda on Varus has a bunch of crowd control, so does Nif on Thresh. Like, even if Giants get ahead, SK have this lineup that can kite back and turn things around. Honestly, to me, this looks difficult for Giants.
It's going to be entirely up to those early few minutes. Yeah. If they can get ahead, they can stay ahead. If, exactly like you said, they are unable to, pick up any sort of early advantage or pick up any sort of item or kill lead, then all the tools are there for SK to make use of to keep them at arm's reach, to keep them away from them in these team fights. So it's going to be an exciting one. 2 ninjas on the side of SK Gaming with Zed and with Shen. That obviously means that blue buff is going to be very prioritized for Ocelot's Fizz. And if they manage to get any sort of advantage, they can actually start transferring some of the blue buffs around. Varus can do very well with it, continue spamming out those piercing arrows, keeping the hail of arrows, the rain of arrows down as well. So a lot of interesting things, but Ocelot running Barrier and Ignite on his Fizz, a mirror of yesterday's Alex performance.
That is actually the general pick here for Fizz. Actually, back in Season 2, Tabs would run Ignite Heal. It was just, I already have playful tricks. I can already dash around and get away from most things. All I really want are fight stats, so I can all-in you, take an extra turret shot at you, tank your counterattack a little bit more, and force you away. Because Flash doesn't do a whole lot against Fizz. He's got a lot of dots, he's got a lot of chasing, so he's like, yep, I just want things that keep me in a duel doing well, and that's his game plan here.
Well, we'll see how it does pan out. We are into this matchup after the small delay. She can only apologize again about once more. It is Giants in the blue corner facing off against SK Gaming in the red corner. Immediately out the gate, SK Gaming are moving with intent towards this bottom blue buff to either defend or invade. Hercubot is moving very, very quickly for the time being. I'm taking a look. Still has not put any points into any of his abilities. And SK doing something a little unorthodox. They're sneaking into this bush, waiting to see if they can catch anybody out. I had a quick look. Nif has put a point into his death sentence, so that CC is available. Giants, however, sensing something's up, or maybe doing something fishy of their own, they are deciding to invade on the SK blue buff.
Well, this is kind of the burden of SK. They've played so many games as a team. There's so many VODs available. They've got to do something different almost every time they look for a jungle invade. And so they've done that. They've come around the side. They've done it completely blind. And they got very good ward coverage over the bottom jungle. However, they're going to walk right into Giants. They see SK.
This is very, very scary. There's full vision. Hercubot's about to face check level 1.
And there we go. The silence is on. Hercubot takes a bunch of bursts. He gets taken down. First blood goes to the AD carry. Pavetta running away. He's going to get taken down, though. Kevin flashes the wall. Now Esther forced to flash away as well. The damage comes out from Candy Panda. Double kill for the AD carry for SK. Now Morden running back. It's a 4-on-3. Where's it going to be? Morden still running. Chunks of health potions. Still getting chased around and only has a point in his slow. Not anything else. Ocelot misses the jump. Oh, the death sentence whiffs as well. Morden has got away from this one. Of course, SK came out 2-1 despite the first blood. And they will not find another kill here.
2-1, and take a quick look at the summoner spells that have been used there. Nif, Flash Ignite down. Candy Panda, Flash down. Ignite down on Ocelot. Flashes on everybody for SK is down. Over on the other side, Jimbo still has Flash and Barrier available, as are the flashes on Samux and Morden. So, SK get the kill advantage. It's a double kill to their AD carry, whereas first blood goes to Jimbones' Vayne. They do manage to steal the red buff away as well and get out relatively unscathed. So, overall, advantage SK.
Oh, that is absolutely massive. You can see a 200 gold lead for them. Morden gets his own blue buff, but Hercubot's getting his own red right now. It's 2-1 as far as jungle camps are concerned, 2-1 as far as kills are concerned. And SK, ooh, nice dodge there by Jimbones, but you can see he's even 2-1 in lane.
Yeah, 2-1 in lane. That's the story of the introduction right now. Well played by Jims to at the very least pick up that first blood in that level 1 engagement, but I think SK's meatball was a little tighter stacked, and they managed to get out very, very effectively. aggressively when they were in trouble. Interestingly, neither Kevin nor Ocelot used their Fortitude elixirs, which both of them have available, so deciding not to go for that. And if you look at Hercubot, he's picked up 2 wards, and just to really get some additional vision after that early start.
And there we go, Hercubot going for the 4th and final blue buff of the game. Hercubot grabbing that blue buff quite easily. The 2v2 now heads up in the bottom lane. Of course, First Blood did give Jimbones the chance to grab up Boots of Speed as well as a couple of potions. But of course, 3 to 14 in minions, Candy Panda is much stronger here.
Yeah, and he's got to be so incredibly careful. A single death sentence will be the end of him, because when you combo the damage from that death sentence passive, as well as a piercing arrow, the blighted quiver stacks, and the hail of arrows, it's going to be a dead Vayne. She's not a particularly tanky champion, and even with the healing that comes down from Alistar, it's not going to be a lot. SK feeling very confident. They're very, very deep behind the lines. They've got some vision. Morden and Hercubot are around, though. The death sentence lands!
And it's going to be a 3-on-3 because Jimbones have pulled in, but both junglers are nearby. Where's it going to be? Candy Panda going a little bit aggressive, but when Shen shows up, they say, nah, we can't dive back into this one. Candy Panda actually did pull turret aggro because of its red buff, but Morden is here to keep his team alive. Jimbones is forced to try to regenerate. Actually hasn't chugged a health potion yet, which surprised me a little bit because he's low on health right now. But SK are still grouping up, pushing down onto this turret, and look how far back Jimbones has to play, because he does not want to get bursted out. His barrier is down, Flash is up.
9 CS to 28 at the moment. He just picked up his 10th one. The 3v3 is still there, and the death sentence lands into Babetta, but wisely, Nif decides to back away. All 3 potions have been now drank for Jimbones, and he has decided to stick in lane. I feel like he was really considering whether or not to use those potions, or if he wanted to just recall. In the mid lane, Ocelot catches out Extra.
It's a lot of damage, but Extra finds a whole heck of a lot back. His barrier is up, so he baits it out. Is it going to be enough damage for Extra? He jumps up and down, and Ocelot finds the kill, and of course had dropped minion aggro as a result, and just gets out for free.
Now in the bottom lane, Hercubot is sniffing around. He has still not left. He's sitting in the grass. He's stealing away the double golems. He may decide to, go for a dive if they can get a good death sentence, especially with Jimbones being so low. I wonder if Hercubot's got vision. He will get it shortly, and they've got to be so incredibly careful. Ocelot played patient in the mid lane to pick up that kill, used every ability to the utmost, and managed to pick up his third kill for SK Gaming. Jimbones is in trouble here.
All right, watch for his flash. He's got to flash the dash for Hercubot. He's going to go in for this one, pushes him backwards. Where's it going to be? He does flash that one. He's going to get out for now. Lantern comes out. Nice headbutt from Babetta. Jimbones staying in the battle, and they're going to be fine.
Morden.
This is going to be close. The death comes out, does not land onto the big scary bear, but they might go back in. They're going to look for Nif. He's been knocked back, but it might just be enough to go in anyway. The dash comes across, does not find Jimbones yet. Morden gets the kill, and here comes Exterminari looking to exterminate Hercubot. That's right back across. Well, beautiful stuff comes out, and that's all the damage they need. Double kill for Giant, 3-3.
Awesome counterplay there from Giants. Not only was Morden where he needed to be at the right time, Extra roamed down as well. He tried to get back in lane after being taken out by Ocelot, but managed to be there, picks up an assist, helps out Jimbones to give him his 2nd kill of the matchup, and try make up that deficit of 25 CS in the bottom lane. So a good attempt by SK, but they definitely did not have the damage or the item advantage to pull off that aggressive early start, and it costs them 2 deaths that maybe they should not have given away.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right here now is a 400 gold difference, even though kills are equal, and in fact, First Blood even went in Giant's favor. So SK, the story of this game right now is, I don't want to say necessarily mechanical superiority, but certainly better minion killing that has led them to the gold lead so far. And I want to see how this game pans out. Extra forced to last hit on her turret. We'll see how that pans out.
And it definitely has a factor play. The champions that they have decided for in this match. Fizz is always going to be stronger than Cassidy in the opening levels. Going to have the ability to dive in and out. Morden having a little bit of a boogie there. But the ability to dive in and out with that Urchin Strike, jump out to safety. You can see that Ocelot is level 6. He has Chumma Waters available, as is his Ignite. Is he going to go aggressive? Because it looks like he wants to. He needs to be a little bit careful as the big scary bear is just around the corner.
Yeah, also had to sit back for a long time right there. The minion wave was frozen right onto Extra's turret, and Ocelot couldn't do anything about that. He knew if he got in too close, he'd get jumped on and get CC chained. it was just getting kicked by Volibear, so he played it far, far back and waited for the wave to push back out. Now it's in no man's land again. We'll see if Giants can force anything.
Morden has only just decided to back away from that mid lane. He lost a lot of time for CS. I do not even think he was within experience range there either. So, you know, it's going to put him a little bit behind. But luckily, he already has a 10 CS lead over Hercubot. Nif and Candy Panda are trying to set something up. You can see just waiting for that Death Sentence to wind up. 0.5 second channel time on that missile. And of course, he can cast it when looking any direction. It's the only spell in the game that you can wind up facing left, but fake out and throw right.
See if that ends up being a big deal overall. Many do throw it from the brush where they're playing in the first place, but this is a ward in this brush here, so they will see that Nif is around. A ward in the chain warden's brush.
I like that. That's a good one indeed.
It'll be better later, okay? give me version 2 of that one, it'll be fine. Jim Bones in a battle with Candy Panda, trading damage back and forth.
And I definitely want to point out, Jim Bones' condemns have been really good this matchup. He used it in the bottom lane to help fend off the gank by Hercubot, forced him back. Then once Hercubot did go for the taunt, he flashed over the taunt. A couple of moments later, he pins Hercubot to the wall, and again in that engagement, really just getting rid of Candy Panda, saying, do not want, please get away from me, and keeping distance from his opponent. The one thing that you do have to look at, 40 CS difference right now between both of these AD carries. And it's really going to be a lot of pressure picking these CS up under the tower because he cannot afford to fall further and further behind.
He is trying to sustain back up right now. He's just got that Vamp Scepter Doran's Blade plus an Alistar Friend to keep himself in decent shape. But you're seeing that number just really start to grow towards that one side. Hercubot, of course, uncontested in his jungle, and the gold lead now 800. It was only 200-300 before. It's getting larger and larger and larger, that lead. The only one that's really holding, well, actually mid lane are holding their own for Giants, but the top lane is also very close, 63 to 72. Samex is keeping up, though we're not watching very much.
So the pace of the game has slowed down just a little bit, you know, from that, you know, opening craziness and aggression.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it can happen from anywhere because there's so much kill potential from both of these teams in every single lane. You know, that's definitely something you have to remember. If Rumble manages to catch Zed with some Electro Harpoons and maybe a Rolling Thunder Fling from Volleybed with the equalizer on top, that is going to kill Kevin so incredibly quickly if he cannot get to safety. The moment, though, the focus is on the bottom lane as Morden is trying to help out Jim Bones, trying to help the hyper carry in their team, because really it's Vayne that's going to be required to carry this team once they get out of the laning and mid game.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening. Morden looked for a gank there, couldn't really find it, turned right back around while still in Fog of War. Then as we see him heads up against Kevin. Kevin is winning this lane by a little bit, to be fair. He's up what's going to be about 9 minions after this one. 8, I think, is the actual number. Yeah, 8 minion difference right here as they equate themselves in minion waves, but I think that's where Giants need to get some pressure.
Yeah, that's so true. Interestingly about Kevin as well, he's got that Cutlass already, you know, straight out the gate, wants to work towards Blade of the Ruined King, but he's maxing both Q and E almost simultaneously. Chain lands onto Baveda, but that's mostly just to frustrate him. So Kevin Z, 3 points into his Q, 3 points into his E, after the previous game where we heard some strong words from Yamato Cannon saying, shouldn't max your Q. It's just interesting to see how the pros prefer to level their champs.
Yeah, basically right now, Kevin just seems to be wave clearing and doesn't want to get into an actual battle with Samex, so that's not really happening right there. Baveda blocks the Death Sentence right there, goes for the headbutt, pulverize. Oh, the condemn actually, I think, saved Nif. I think he was going to get headbutted back, so I think there's a bit of miscommunication there. Ocelot looking for a gank at the bottom lane, hops over the wall. He is behind the opposition. He's going to go right for this. Lands the shark. Babetta not in a good place. Pops the ult as well, but here comes Shen. Babetta's not in a great place. Tries to flash away. That's not going to be enough at all. And the taunt lands on a Jim Bones. Will they have the counterattack available? 2 for 0 so far. The root lands on an Extra. He's not in a good place. They're still chasing him down a little bit. Nope, double kill for Ocelot, and that's it.
That was such a good chain of corruption coming out from Candy Panda. It managed to lock up Jim Bones. It even transferred over to Extra. Thanks to locking him down and putting some DPS down, it allows SK to pick up the first outer tower in the bottom lane. Now they carry on the pressure on the inner tower. Morden and Samex are doing the best they can up in that top lane, but Ocelot, exactly where he needed to be at exactly the right time. Followed up with Stand United, 2 assists, 2 towers, and the bottom lane a complete and utter victory for Candy Panda and co.
Yeah, that was absolutely great for SK overall. We're now seeing Giants try to pick up the pieces of this one. They're not down terribly far, but here comes a push onto Morden. A lot of damage on him. Ignite off as well. Will the tick be enough? It is. Popped out there by Kevin, only at level 10. Our bullet goes off, but it's not enough to kill Kevin, but he might just dash in for this one. But the flash away from Kevin keeps him alive here. And, of course, Dragon also picked up for SK Gaming.
That is a massive advantage now for SK in terms of global objectives and gold. Just from the towers and the Drakes alone, you're talking around 3,000 gold. Ocelot still not had enough. He's going on extra.
Now he does get, Castle does run away from that one. However, you're seeing 93 to 81 on the scoreboard for Minions. 3-0 and 2 to 0-2 and 2. So a 3-kill, 2-death lead there as well. And kind of across the board, you're seeing slight to large advantages for all the SK Gaming players. This early game is definitely going their way.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You can see Ocelot 2,000 gold in his back pocket. Just going to go and start finishing up some items. I'd like to see what he does decide to purchase. He's got a lot of options available to him. We see Hercubot as well picking up those boots of mobility on Shen. So really wants to be the ganking map presence jungler right now. And when your team's ahead, if you can be in the right place at the right time to either counter gank or set your team up for a successful defense, obviously you're going to hold that lead, and that's what it's all about.
All right, we'll see if Giants can turn that one around themselves. The blue buff getting focused down right now. See a damage output coming from Extra, picks that one up. 85 minions on him, has a shiny blue buff. Hasn't actually gone tier like we've seen from a lot of the other Castins so far. Is just going for the early Rod of Ages. It may hurt his late game AP. Put some damage on Ocelot. Does get death sentence, though. Looks like they won't go in for it, though.
Yeah, there's not enough support there for SK Gaming to really pick that fight. Even though they caught Kassadin out, they didn't want to jump in on that one. A major pickup was collected by Candy Panda in that bottom lane. Infinity Edge completed at 13.5 minutes. So no pressure, bro. That's so much damage. 3 members of SK now looking to pick a fight. And thanks to Ocelot getting 3 kills, they've caught out Extra. They're not going to go in this time. He's wave clearing with a single playful trickster this early in the matchup with all that ability power means it's going to be very difficult to continue sieging with that very good wave clear from Fizz and of course from Varus once he starts defending.
You just saw Candy Panda's wave clear right there, of course doing a great job. Jimbo's trying to keep up by taking away these double golems, but you're seeing 70 to 125, that minion kill lead actually growing over time. And you see, because of that, 4,000 to 5,400. 4,000, 5,400 is the gold right there. Just between the AD carries, Candy Panda is certainly a much more massive force here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Just that Infinity Edge in comparison to the Vamp Scepter, it's chalk and cheese. You see that Kevin has just picked himself up his Blade of the Ruined King. That's going to be helping him out when he decides to go aggressive, get that additional pop damage from the death mark. And as long as Nif keeps catching out Extra's Kassadin with those death sentences, he's going to be sentenced to death when these team fights happen because he's been caught 2 for 2 in that mid lane. Members of SK are roaming around, they're about to find a bear in the woods, and you don't know if they want to pick that fight.
Well, the fish ends up being interesting. The hunter has become the hunted as the fish actually dealing more damage to the bear, despite being the staple diet. And you can see the SK have grouped up 4 strong in this mid lane. Of course, Zed, Kevin just sitting there to split push up against Samix. And this turret might be going down very, very shortly. Looks like no one from Giants is trying to stop that at all. And another structure topples here. This is SK definitely in control. 3
towers to 0, 1 dragon to 0, a kill lead, a gold lead, an item lead. Every single metric is in SK Gaming's favor. They fail the headbutt and they catch for better.
And look at that. The death center was so good. It's a death paragraph. They're going to start in another fight. Morton rooted in place. And he goes down. And look at that. Another turret going.
The turret is now down. They're going to carry on with the fight. Chum the Waters used to hold them in place. Atlantean Fizz is sinking the giant ship right now because there is nothing they can do to hold off the pressure from SK Gaming. They're on the inhibitor turret. The damage is going down from Candy Panda, and there is no one from Giants to respond. There is simply nothing that they can do at the moment.
I mean, they can do some damage to Candy Panda, drop him to half health, but that's really the only thing they can do right now is weaken SK and not quite follow through. Now an 8,000 gold lead here for SK Gaming. That is a significant clip. That's 40% more gold than what Giants have. That's a significant margin. I feel like significant is my word of the day, by the way.
It does look like it.
Samix going to be taking a significant amount of damage. Kevin going in for that one. Dashes forward. The shadow barely even needed. Pops him up, but A nice assist for Hercubot.
Definitely. Getting that 5th assist on the board. It's also going to allow them to shove down that wave and try take the tower down. It's at around 50%. You've got to be a little bit careful of the chomp from Frenzy of Morden. It would have potentially risked Kevin his life. So nevertheless, they didn't decide to back away. It puts them to a 9-3 kill lead right now. And Varus, that Bilgewater Cutlass completed as well. So he's working towards his Blade of the Ruin King. He's caught Extra.
And look at the burst damage on him. The Shark comes off. Actually, Extra not in the worst shape overall.
Did he rift walk the damage?
I feel like he rift walked the damage from the Shark.
Did he rift walk the damage? We're definitely going to have to ask the analysis team to double check that one, because that left both of us speechless. That was a...
I blame Unso for not catching it.
That would have been a perfect timing on Riftwalk if that were to happen. So we'll definitely check that one out. It does appear that he Riftwalked it.
Wow.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. New one for me. I didn't even know you could do that.
I didn't either. And I thought, like, oh man, his reflex is so bad. The Shark came out. He didn't change courses at all. And then, well, color me silly, he got that one out really successfully. However, of course, it doesn't change what's happening in this game right now, which is Exterminare being kind of 1v1 against Candy Panda, which is something I think the AD carry is going to win. Ult comes off as well. Extra, I don't know if you can rip off the damage from this one. That's going to be a bit more difficult. Gets the slow. The flash comes out. He's still slowed. The E is going to be enough. Nice pickup there by Candy Panda.
Hail of Arrows too strong, allows him to pick up his 4th kill of the game. He used everything he had. More just picking a fight with Kevin, and I don't know if he should be doing that, but here comes Rumble.
Oh, the equalizer a little bit off, though. Doesn't even land much of a slow, and Kevin gets away. Of course, the haste he gets from Blade of the Ruin King also helping him out quite a bit. Of course, with all those resources to the top lane with Extra dead, they know there's only 2 members at most who can answer this dragon, and they won't even try. SK Gaming gets another neutral objective.
Very well played again from SK Gaming. They had map presence, they had map awareness, Kevin drew some numbers, and it allowed them to safely and securely pick up their 2nd dragon of the game, extending that gold lead to almost 10,000 gold. And that's generally the breaking point. When teams get a 10k gold lead, you start feeling like, all right, it's basically their game to lose. And when you think about the damage and the power that Ocelot's Fizz has right now, with Chum the Waters being a little bit over 1 minute between each individual cast, anytime they want to go aggressive with Earth or with the Shark, as it were, in this battle, in this game, it's so much damage, so much CC, and you either run away and have no presence in the fight, or you get munched and nommed and go down. And Jim Bones is toying with his life at the moment.
A little bit. They did have a ward and knew that the team was off to the right-hand side. Looks like he's not getting jumped on just yet. Samek's trying to keep Kevin warm and keep him from killing the turret, but it seems that he's cold-hearted and wants to kill it anyway. The minion has slain that turret with a lot of help from Kevin. The minions are gone. He's going to keep shoving off that lane. Ocelot standing on top of a ward. No one's going to fall for that trap, buddy.
No, not right now. They do have some vision, so you have to compliment Giants' attempt to control the vision side of the game right now. They've had a lot of wards placed on their side of the map to try and, at the very least, keep tabs on where SK Gaming are and what they're doing. But it's not really affecting the match so much because they are so incredibly far behind. SK have stacked up as 4. Stand United is available for Hercubot if they want to pick a fight. And Samix is going to be careful. They've caught Extra.
And that's going to jump over to Morden as well. The ult comes off, trying to keep them off the turret. They're actually going for the fight on a Candy Panda. The ult comes off. He's trying to stay alive because of Shen. Nif does get a little bit of a knockback. Shark doesn't hit onto anyone. They're still going in. Morden gets the flip on Hercubot. The box comes down. Morden trying to run away. He's regenerating, and he might just live. The Ignite almost kills him. He does actually go down. Samek's not in a good place either. Jimbo's not in a good place either. He pops down to the death mark. And Babetta going to get dropped as well. 4 for nothing so far. Now Extra is alone. Can he get away from this one? He's looking for 1 extra kill, and he's going to find 1 on the Fizz, but he goes down 5-1 and triple kill for Kevin.
500 bonus gold does go into Extra's back pocket, but what a team fight from SK Gaming. It actually forces the surrender vote there. I do have to say that Babetta's headbutt got Kevin on the other side of the wall, which made me giggle just a little bit. Kicked him out the fight, but SK, what a performance. From the first blood to the control in the bottom lane. 1 mistake in terms of the fight of overextending, but other than that, it was their game in its entirety.
They played that one incredibly well. That looks like the SK, that's the number 3 team in Europe right now. Certainly a well-deserved victory. The handshakes, of course, on your screen. Once again, Giants versus SK.